in the workshop every other week. But couldn't help myself. Here we are. We've got an extra one. Can't be bad, can it? Now, we did have some technical difficulties this morning. I did set the live stream up, and it was basically ready to go. And for some reason, it just disappeared. Something happened, disappeared off the screen, so I had to start all over again. So there might be two thumbnails out there with the same picture. The other one obviously doesn't work. That's never going to happen. This is the live stream for today. Now, let's see who we've got in the workshop with us. Let me just log in first. It'll take the viewers probably a little bit of time to find the right live stream. Oh, there we go. Look, we've got a few popping in now. Excellent stuff. Right, just bear with me. Let me know what the video quality and the audio is like if you can. Right, almost there. Get rid of all the adverts. We don't need those. Skip the ads. Wonderful. Boom. We have Jim K in the workshop. Good morning, Jim. Jim says, hello. Hello from the US. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate that. George Bonnie 90. Hello, everybody. Big thumbs up. Again, if you just joined us, my sincere apologies. I set the live stream up, did the thumbnail, ready to go, and it was just waiting for me to start the live stream, and it disappeared off the screen on the phone. Couldn't find it anywhere. It wasn't just a window hiding in the background, so I had to start all over again. So my sincere apologies if you got another notification earlier. That live stream has long gone, disappeared. Don't know what's happening. The good news is I have worked out how to make sure it's always in the landscape format. And it was a YouTube thing, and it's in the advanced settings on the live stream, you know, while you're setting it up before you go live. And it always defaults to portrait, which is a real pain in the ass, YouTube. I'm sorry, it is. Simon Roll, morning, Andy and crew. Good morning, Simon. Welcome back, matey. Good to see you there. George Boy 90, looks and sounds good. Excellent. Simon Roll, all good. And extra live. That's right, an extra live stream. Normally, we just do them every other week, fortnightly, when I'm in the workshop. But I thought, well, you know what the hell? I'm not going to be working on any bikes today. I've got to take Mrs. Mechanic up to Auckland. Great segue, Simon. Thank you. Up to Auckland after lunch to get on a plane. That's right. Mrs. Mechanic is going on a 2-week mission. Now, I can't say too much about the actual activities of the second week. Oh, hang on. What's going on? Oh, nothing important. Oh, look at that. A new memory with Tour Girl Holly. That's nice. See if we can bring that up for you. Bear with me. Technical as always. Boom. Look at that. Oh. Let me just flick through. No, I can't show you all of those. No. Right. Anyway, not to worry. You're going to be wondering what's going on there, aren't you? Oh, the beard's coming back, by the way. So, yes, Mrs. Mechanic gets on a plane, flies down to Queenstown. And then she's got the first week of her activities is with Eloise, our youngest daughter, and they're going to go hiking around the mountains of Queenstown and also down Milford Sound. Milford Sound is a big, long, dead-end road. Beautiful area, full of sandflies and stuff. Not my kind of place to go. But Eloise has organised a trip to some pretty epic trails to walk down there. And assuming Mrs. Mechanic and Eloise make it out of Milford Sound and back to Queenstown, she's got a day off. And then she has to get herself to Timaru, which is about a 5-hour drive. It's a fair trek. She won't be driving. I'm not going to say how she's going to get there, but she's got to get to Timaru. And then she's got to pick up the little Suzuki Carry that we purchased about 6 weeks ago. Yes, the lad that sold it to me has been looking after it. It's all ready to go. Pick that up, and then she's got to head north. And she's got to call in at Rolleston at a particular place, get something done. Not going to say too much because it'll spoil the videos, because she is going to film the whole trip. And then she's got to make her way over to Hammer Springs for the night. And then she's got to get up to Picton. What I will say is the trip is going to involve some pretty long gravel road sections in that little 4-wheel drive pickup truck thing. She doesn't know exactly where she's going yet, and everything has been documented and put in envelopes as daily missions. And at the start of the day, she'll open the envelope, like on Top Gear, she'll open the envelope, read what she has to do, and hopefully pull off that part of the mission. Eventually, she'll end up on the ferry into Wellington on, I forget what, I think it's the 11th or something, Sunday the 11th maybe. On the Sunday morning, she gets the ferry pretty early on, arrives in Wellington about lunchtime. Well, I'm going to meet Mrs. Mechanic with the ute and the little trailer, and we'll stick the little Suzuki Carry on the trailer, and then that way she doesn't have to drive all the big roads all the way home. Plus, you can have a bit of a rest because she's going to be pretty knackered by the end of that. She will be filming sporadically along the entire journey from when she leaves Queenstown, first envelope that morning. And probably the last bit of piece to camera will be meeting me with the trailer at the dockside in Wellington. Hopefully, if all goes to plan. I mean, it's a second-hand vehicle. It's 1997. We don't really know the history of the machine. She has a very, very long way to go in an unknown vehicle. Plus, she's staying off all the main roads wherever she can and doing lots and lots of gravel road. And there's a time limit on that gravel road as well. It doesn't open until 7 a.m. and you have to be off it by 7 p.m. If you don't get off by 7 p.m, they lock the gate and you've got to stay in your car or camp overnight until they man the gate the next morning. That would be a major problem because she would miss her ferry. Plus, of course, she's got a camp as well. She will have some camping gear with her, I think. From memory, not sure. Maybe she won't. Maybe she's got to sleep in the car. Tiny little cab. She'll probably still fit there. She'll be all right. Now then. Oh, Tessaphon. Message retracted. Almarine Velocity. There you go. Hey, Andy, long time no see. Almarie, absolutely. Good to see your name there again, matey. Al Alish. Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Mechanic. Mrs. Mechanic is in the house. She's busy frantically trying to get packed for the trip, and if she's got a bit of spare time, she's got a few little details still to finish off, and then she can render episode 4 of the epic monkey bike trip across New Zealand. So she'd like really to try and get that out on her channel before we head to Auckland for the airport. Fingers crossed. Al Alish, who is Jar? Right, well, Jar is a very nice young lady who is married to Craig Stevens, who owns a motorcycle dealership up in Tokoroa. Craig and Jar are good friends, and they popped round yesterday for morning tea, which was really nice. I spent yesterday's, originally the plan was to do some more work on the roof, the new roof that's going over the workshop. We're on with that now. Already put the posts in along this wall here for the side port. It's got a proper name now, the side port. And from the back side of those posts, we're going to actually put a second roof over the workshop, a tin roof, with a bit of a void, maybe, probably, it's a bit of an angle, but about a foot gap. And that should drastically reduce the temperatures in the workshop during the summertime when the sun's out, because it gets ridiculously hot in here. And it's not fun filming sometimes, to be honest. So fingers crossed, that'll be once it's done, there'll be a zero cost. It'll keep the workshop a bit cooler. Won't need to install the air conditioning. If it's still really bad, then of course we'll look at air conditioning, but that's expensive, not just to install, but also to run as well. So I'd rather not do that if I can help it. I'd rather just have aircon in the house, which is, another goal for the future. But yes, we are slowly getting there. We had morning tea with them. Jar brought down what we call morning tea, which is the buns and cakes and pies and that kind of stuff. She brought quite a bit of stuff with her, to be fair. It was very nice. Had a good chat with Craig, good catch up. Haven't seen Jar for a very long time. Craig's not been down to the house for at least a couple of years, and I was quite surprised to see all the new carports and work that we've been doing. He liked Trevor the tractor. He's got the same Kubota, but the model down, slightly smaller engine, 23 something or other it's called. And he says he's used his loads. So, obviously we made the right choice. Did you know that under 50 horsepower tractor market here in New Zealand, Kubota have 50% of that, which is pretty damn good, isn't it? That's a pretty big market share. So they're obviously, very popular, and I think one of the best tractors on the market. So good job, Kubota, keep it up. So yes, once Jar and Craig went off, they had a bike to go and deliver on a farm in the afternoon that Craig had serviced up, and then one of our neighbours popped round with his John Deere tractor lawnmower. Yes, wanted the deck taken off, and ready a couple of new belts to fit. And whilst the deck was off, he gave it a bit of a clean up and a paint, and I think we got it all back together okay. Although didn't seem to have a lot of brakes. I think I made a mistake. I mean, it's going to come back for a new deck anyway, because the deck was pretty rusty, to be fair. Pretty sure, thinking about it last night, when you press the brake pedal, it must do two things. It must disengage the drive from the engine to the rear axle by pulling the tensioner across to one side, and taking the tension off the belt, but then also apply a brake. All it was doing was applying the brake. It wasn't stopping the drive, which was bad. So basically, he had his lawns to cut. He went off and cut his lawns. Just didn't need to stop. Just did it in circles, And when he comes back with a new deck, then we'll work out. I think I must be a misalignment off the brake pedal. There must be some kind of a secondary connection to the tensioner pulleys, and maybe that wasn't aligned when I put the plate back on. I don't know. Never done one before. That's sort of Ben's territory. But at the moment, it sort of works. Belts were all on fine and everything. There was no problem with that. There, I went no worries at all. So that sort of kept me busy. We also cleared out a lot of the brash from the back of the workshop, because I had to find a steel frame that goes on the front of on the Patrol for the roof rack, so we can put longer bits of timber up there. We're going to move some of the timber across under the house port and put it on top of the Patrol, just to make it a bit easier to get the timber that I need. Plus it'll keep it nice and dry and stuff. And the Patrol doesn't go anywhere, it just sits there at the moment, so it may as well make use of the space, What else did we do yesterday? Oh yes, we loaded up the little trailer. We finished loading the little trailer with a load of rubbish for the tip. And that is all strapped up, ready to go. And after the live stream, I'm off to the tip to go empty the trailer. And then I've got to pack, because I'm away for a few days as well next week, up in Auckland, and then flying around New Zealand. I've got 4 or 5 flights, something like that, 3 hire cars, visiting farms and dealerships and all sorts of stuff, doing some research work and getting some feedback. I've got basically one of my bosses from Australia coming across, technical service chap. He's coming over, and we're going to be flying around doing a bit of research. And I haven't seen that gentleman, Trevor his name is. I haven't seen him for, well before COVID, to be honest. So it'd be great to catch up with him, to be honest. He's a top bloke. Marcin, hey Andy, good evening and morning for you. Yes, it is. What kind of pie Chief serves today? Well, good segue. We'll do that. We'll get it in the pie warmer. We have here, Jar brought me, very nicely, she did a special trip to get this. Jar went to purchase this pie from a place called Robert Harris Cafe, which is just outside Tokoroa on our way here. This is the pie. It's a steak and cheese, I believe. This is the pie. It looks very, in fact, to me now, looking at it, this looks identical to a steak and cheese classic from the Wild Bean Cafe. Just the size, the way it's constructed, the little frilly bits around the outside there, look, the pinch points, and the little dot in the middle. So maybe it is, I don't know, but it's come from Robert Harris Cafe, and we'll see how it compares to the other steak and cheese that we did from the Wild Bean Cafe. Yeah, so it's pretty structurally integral. There's a few little cracks here and there. It's been on a bit of a journey, so we can give it some slack on that. Another one there, look. But yeah, overall it's not too bad. So we'll flick over to the pie warmer. We'll get this warming up, and then we'll carry on with the chat. Turn you around. 3, 2, 1, boom. Now, as always, be a little bit careful about what you see in the workshop, because there are some blue things still in the workshop, which you're not allowed to see. I've moved most of them outside. All right, we'll stick that in there. Came out of the fridge from yesterday, so 23 minutes. And no, I really haven't cleaned the pie. Look at the state of this. It's horrific. Extra flavour, right? Oh, while we're up, I did buy, I was wandering down Bunnings the other day, And I spotted this. I thought, oh, this is going to be really, really useful. In fact, I've not opened it yet. So it's like a storage box. Storage boxes are great. So let me just go get some side cutters and we'll just snip that little zip tie there, look. If we can, in fact, we'll use the little ones because they're a bit sharper. Down there, look. Excellent. Okay. Left-handed snippering. Can we do it? Oh, very professional. Right, stick those back. Everything in its place, Mr. Young. Everything in its place. Nice. Right, let's have a little look inside. It's a heavy-duty organizer. 20 compartments, so it must be too deep. HD construction, heavy-duty construction, ergonomic handle, 20 compartments, metal latches, and it's stackable. Made in China, as always. Right, so metal latches, there we go. And feels pretty good. The lid feels maybe a little bit brittle. I think if you dropped it, it would crack the lid. But other than that, it shouldn't be too bad. What have we got down here? What's this? Piece of cardboard. Okay, and yes, it's too deep. 20 boxes. So I intend to use that if it's going to work for a lot of my tech screws. I have got lots and lots and lots of these kind of things that we use on the timber. They're all different lengths, so it might be quite a good idea. So there's some small ones there. Look, we've got a big box of roofing ones somewhere as well, which we'll be using some more of. We've got some nice countersink ones as well. So I might stick them all in the box, and then that way we can just take the box outside rather than coming inside all the time for different sizes. So, made by a company called Pinnacle Hardware. Oh, geez, there you go. Look, Pinnacle Hardware. Nice. That was actually quite expensive, and to be fair, oh, that's what the cardboard's for. You can relabel it. Look, they give you a spare label. I thought it was about $49, and it turned out when I went to go and pay for it, it was $65. So it was quite expensive, but I think will be very, very useful. So if you're ever in the market for one of these, that might be, if you've got that brand around, might be worthwhile getting. Alan's fuel tank is now drained of fuel. I did find a problem whilst draining it of fuel. Both the fuel taps, the fuel flow rate from the fuel taps was incredibly slow, which might lead to some of his problems. He said it wasn't as powerful as his red bike. He's got a red one of these as well. Didn't seem to go quite as well. Took a very long time to drain the fuel out. It's got two fuel taps. Both of them are very slow. And yes, I did remove the cap as well to give it best possible chance and prevent any kind of vacuuming, but still really slow. So Alan's got all that to fix. He's going to be getting the fuel, look at the state of this. He's going to be getting the fuel tank painted anyway. So that's going to go up to Auckland with me this afternoon as well. Right, just reversing up slowly. Beep, beep, beep. Back to the bench. Okay, there we go. No need for the charge wire. How does this happen? Honestly, oh, there we go, that's better. Every time I put the tripod down, it always seems to be not level anymore. Okay, so whilst I've done my back in, by the way. I don't know how I've done it, but I've been in quite a lot of pain the last few days, which is probably another reason for not going up on the roof yesterday, and just to get some little jobs done. Now, where do we get to? Tessifon. Hello, Andy. I'm happy to meet you again. I wait eagerly the coming of Saturday, my country. Saturday night around 10:40, oh, Sunday. Around 10:45 yours. Also morning. Nature is amazing. I wish you a blessing, Dave. That's very nice, Tessifon. Thank you very much. Simon was going to pick your brain later. I mentioned a few weeks back about a wheelchair rack for a trike. Wow. Was looking at low-profile alloy clamps with rubber, but think the alloy may fail over time. Yeah, it could sort of work hard and cut it and crack. You might need to use steel clamps. We'll send some photos over. Okay, I'll keep my eye on for those, Simon. Thank you. The Giant. Good evening, Andy and crew. Sorry for being late. Hey, don't worry, I wasn't going to be late today, other than the potential technical problems that we keep having with all the YouTube stuff at the moment. It's really weird, actually. But we got there in the end, didn't we? Did any of you see the other thumbnail? Did it actually go out? I don't know whether YouTube triggered the thumbnails going out when I build the live stream on the screen, or whether or not they go out after I click go live. So if you only ever saw one and only one actually worked, then that would be good feedback. Ooh, we got some photos. Here we go. Simon Roll, some pictures. Let's have a look. Oh my word. Right. Get my head around this. So it's a bit like a cage, isn't it? Going on there. I'll show you the pictures. Oh, I see. Right. So we've got a cage that's going on the back of this trike, and in the cage goes said wheelchair. Good job, Simon. Right, there's a close-up of the wheelchair wheel inside the cage. Oh, I see. It goes to the side of the trike. Wow, look at that. I take it the yellow, right, the yellow tubing is the side of the trike, so you're just basically bolting that onto the side, or maybe clamping it. I don't know what your plan is. Oh, I see. Yes, you've got a G-clamp on there holding it in place. How's it going to be for ground clearance? That looks pretty low. Looks really low. It might need to go up a little bit. I don't know. Speed bumps. Oh, and this is the clamp. Okay. Oh, that looks good. So that's probably, I'm assuming that's like an 8mm bolt that's through there, not a 10. What does it tell us? It doesn't tell us on there, does it? I'd be quite dubious about the roll pins. They could be the weak point in all that. To be fair, I don't know. I can't really see how thick the roll pins are, and also how many you're going to be using as well. I'd be happy with steel ones, to be fair. I would. And I take it that clamp is what you're using to clamp the cage to those yellow tubes on the trike, right? The wheelchair itself will just sit in the cage and maybe have a strap on it or something like that, or maybe a metal bar that clips down to hold it in place. Obviously, it needs to be really easy for the guy to get in and out, hence why it's so low to the ground. Okay. Yes, if you could tell me, if you know what size, if that was an M10 bolt, it will give you a bit more scale to the picture. I take it the wing nut and the thread is something like an M6, which I suppose should be fine. But again, how many are you going to use? I think that's the question, isn't it? Probably, what, 4, maybe 6? I don't know. Any more pictures? No, that's it for the photos. Okay, right. So a few questions to answer there. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Right, where do we get to? Vijayant, good evening, Andy and crew. Sorry for being late. No, that's all good, Vijayant, no problems. Igor Zdroskis. Good evening from the North Pole. We have snow already, and -4 in Latvia. Wow, -4. That's pretty chilly. It has snowed in the South Island. Now, remember I said earlier on, Mrs. Mechanic is flying down to Queenstown tonight to do some mountain walks, some hiking, climbing mountains and things with Eloise. Eloise's trips tend to be quite adventurous and definitely take Mrs. Mechanic a bit beyond her comfort zone, and usually endurance as well. Eloise is a lot younger than Mrs. Mechanic, to be fair. But they will definitely be entering the snow line. They'll be hiking, trekking through the snow at some points along the route around the mountains in Queenstown. Not so much in Milford Sound, it'll just be raining lots there, we're told. But around Queenstown, there's a lot of snow. It was snowing at ground level in Queenstown a couple of days ago. I imagine most of that's gone now, but the snow line will still be very low on the mountain. So any trails that get any kind of altitude at all, they'll be up in the snow. So she's just packing some extra warm clothes now to hopefully survive the mission. It's going to be cold. Simon, was Ralph fit? But can you think of anything better? I'll have a think and come back to you. Let me just dwell on it a little bit. Yes, The yellow tube is scaffold tube, M8 bolts, 4 clamps. Right. So if it's scaffolding tube, do they not, I think they make a cast clamp for scaffolding pole in the UK, if I remember rightly. It might be, I know they're going to look massively over-engineered and probably way over the top for that particular job, but there's going to be a lot of vibration with it hanging off the side. And obviously he's going to go for speed bumps and potholes and that kind of thing. So I don't know. How many are you going to use? 4 clamps, M8 bolt. How heavy is the wheelchair as well? That's something else to take into account. Just bear with me, people. I've just got to scroll down a little bit. There we go. Yeah, I'd be tempted to explore the scaffolding pole clamps as well. They're probably going to be a lot bigger. But I don't know whether they would then incorporate a mounting bolt to the frame of the wheelchair carrier. Probably, I don't know, you have to have a little look. See what you come up with. Send me some more pictures. The scaffold tube takes it quite wide, all in 25 kilograms. So that's about a jerry can and a bit, isn't it? But it is hanging off quite a distance as well. So there's a lot of leverage going on. I think you're right. I think those aluminum ones for Jim, are probably going to be okay for a while, but I think they're probably going to struggle. If you're going to use the aluminum ones, I think you need a few more. That's my personal take on it. Although the aluminium ones do seem to, they're more aesthetically pleasing for sure, and a much neater setup with the design having that mounting bolt on there as well. I think with enough of them, again, check out the roll pin thickness, because that's going to be the weak point on that clamp, I think. Yeah, do they give you any kind of weight limits and stuff on those mounts? I don't know. We'll work it out. Oh, yes, next thing. I'm currently designing, or I've designed now, and I've ordered the steel for it, in the office where I do all my work from home and all my editing, well, most of my editing and so on. It's like a big cupboard, basically. It's a very small sort of box room, we call that in England. Sort of the spare bedroom, but it's only got bunk beds in at the moment, and it's full of junk. It's very, very disorganized and very difficult to find some things in there, and quite cramped. There's not a lot of room, and it's extremely uncomfortable. I get a lot of back pain when I'm working there doing my admin work for hours on end. I tend to seize up. So I've tried to review the ergonomics of the workstation, or the desk it is now, and on the new workstation, much higher bench top. I think it's going to be almost a meter high, with a high stool chair with a back and everything on it. One of those gas adjustable, I think they call it like an architect's chair, on wheels, obviously, so easy to get in and out. But the workstation will have a couple of roll cabs, one either side for drawers. They'll be on separate wheels, and the workstation itself will be on very large, about 150mm industrial spec caster wheels. Look very smart, actually. They have now arrived. They were not cheap, and they weren't from China. Very good quality. I wanted, because it's going to be something in the house, I wanted to make something that actually looks nice as well, looks purposeful. And then there'll be a shelf, a big shelf above, because we've got plenty of ceiling height, big shelf above for lots of storage up there to get a lot of the stuff off the floor and post it up top. There'll be some kind of lighting below that shelf to light up the desk when you want it. And the monitors, rather than being mounted to the desktop as they are now on a stand, because there's 2 big monitors and then of course the laptop screen as well, those will be mounted from the back on arms that you can pull out towards you and then push them away when you're not using them. So I can use the desk area for things like wiring and that kind of stuff as well, because the workshop's not great for that. It's not bad, but it's not a particularly clean environment, and sometimes I'm doing wiring that I want to keep clean, circuit board work and that kind of thing. I like to make little circuit boards and things now and again when I have time. Something that I've not really got into over the years too much is electronics, and it's sort of work in progress, but my eyesight is definitely failing a bit. One thing I'm looking to get as well is one of those magnifying lights that's on an arm, so that'll be part of the design. We'll mount that somewhere, and then you can pull it in like a watchmaker's thing, you know, and you can illuminate what you're working on and see a lot better what you're doing. So that'll be a major help. So yes, Mrs. Mechanic said she'd like one as well. So the bunk beds are going to go, and there'll be a workstation, both the same, on either side of the room. And there'll be about, between the two workstations, there'll be just over a metre gap, maybe metre two, something like that. So I've tried to keep the depth of the workstation to a minimum, although you need space for your laptop and books and paperwork and stuff as well. So it's a bit of a compromise, but I think it'll work really well. And having that extra height, it means that I can actually, if I want to, I can even stand and work as well from time to time, which definitely helps my back. So something to think about. Who else? Roger. Oh, hang on. We've jumped a few. So Simon, the scaffold tube takes it out quite wide. All in all, 25 kilograms. Governor. Simon, use M10 bolts with lug nuts. See, if the clamps are taking M8, then you'll obviously have to drill out some more of the aluminium to fit an M10 bolt. I'd be happy with M10 bolts, to be fair. But of course, you're going to be taking away aluminium material from the clamp. So is that going to compromise the clamp? It's always a bit of a, it is a compromise, isn't it? Simon, 100 kilograms, it says on the clamps. 100 kgs. That's not bad, is it? If you've got 4 of those, you are well up. But I imagine 100 kilograms on the clamps will be 100 kilograms hanging downwards, not levering off like that. There could be a bit of a difference there, I suppose. Personally, I'd use 6. Personally, just to be on the safe side. The last thing he wants is a wheelchair flying off the side of his ATV and skidding off down the road. That wouldn't be so good. So maybe 4 across the top and 2 at the bottom. That's how I'd do it, because most of the pull is at the top, isn't it? The bottom mounts are actually being pushed against the tubing on the trike. Sorry, on the trike. Roger Heaps. Good morning, all. Sorry, having to have bacon and eggs with mates watching the rugby. Good man. Sounds a perfect combination. Hey, Sheldon's around. Morning, Sheldon. Good to have you back, matey. Sheldon says, surprising, didn't think you'd be doing a live stream today. Well, neither did I, to be perfectly honest, Sheldon. It was one of those sort of spur of the moment things. I sort of mentioned it a little bit last live stream that I might do one today. And I thought, well, what the hell? Mrs. Mechanic is going on one of her epic adventures. This time, the second week at least, is a solo trip where she's driving the little Suzuki Carry back from Timaru all the way back to Wellington via a few little stop-offs, and she's going to do some filming along the route. She can't take too much camera work with the camera gear with her because, of course, she's flying down. She's limited on luggage. We're hoping to get the GoPro with her as well, with a screen, a suction mount for the screen, so she can do a bit of filming while she's driving, especially on the off-road sections. The little Suzuki Carry has got, and this was one of the main reasons why we bought it. It is 4-wheel drive. It's only got a 660cc 4-stroke triple engine. It is manual gearbox, which is really nice. But the main thing is it's got 4-wheel drive and low ratio, which is extremely rare on a fully road legal Suzuki Carry. Nearly all of them only have high ratio if they've got 4-wheel drive. Most of them are only 2-wheel drive. So when I came across that one, I thought, right, that'll be a perfect vehicle for another little adventure trip around New Zealand. And Mrs. Mechanic bringing the vehicle home is a bonus trip. That's not the main trip we've got planned for that vehicle, but it'll give it a good shakedown, so we'll know what needs to be done when it gets back. If it gets back, hopefully. You never know. Igor Zdebroskis. This is how I designed my kitchen countertop. The carpenter did not understand why I wanted a higher top than standard. Often desks, I think, nowadays are a little bit on the low side. They don't lend themselves to being worked at, stood up at all, and you've got to buy all the extra stuff to lift your keyboard and your monitor and bits and pieces higher. I think, actually, the workstation is going to be really, really good, and it shouldn't take me too long to fabricate one up. Obviously, I'll make some kind of a rudimentary jig because there's 2 frames, one at each end, I want to get the frames identical. And then the bars that go across, that's box section, the main box section, yes, 50 by 50 millimeters box, I think 4mm wall, so there's plenty of strength there. I've done that because of the loading that's going to be on the top shelf. And I've had some like eyelets, laser cut, so I can just cut into the box section of maybe 20, 30 mil. I forget the drawing now. Just cut a slot in the box section, top and bottom, slide in the eyelet and weld it into place. So I'll have probably a jig set up where I've got a length of box that I'll be able to measure the distance between the two bolt holes on the eyelets, and then I can make them all exactly the same length. So the whole thing will be perfectly square when it's all bolted up. And yes, there's a few triangles here and there to give it stability as well, or rigidity, should I say. Not too sure what I'm going to paint it, or what colour I'm going to paint it. I might paint it black, or we might just clean off all the steel and just lacquer it. I quite like bare steel lacquered. It's quite a cool sort of finish to it, and you get to see all the grinding marks and bits and pieces. So I like that kind of stuff. And none of the welds will be ground, so you'll see all the welds as well. Once it's all done, once that room's finished and tidied up, and we've got all the computers set up and things, then it may well be that the odd live stream will be done from that room as opposed to in the workshop. There's lots of motorcycle gear in there and stuff, so it'll have quite a nice backdrop to it as well. So we'll see. We will see. It's all work in progress, but at the moment the room is terrible and it can only get better. Hopefully. And hopefully more room. That's the plan. A bit more space to move around. Simon, for James, stainless. Oh, stainless will work hardened too. Yeah, not so good. Would look nice though. Okay, so the plan of attack for me over the next week. I'm driving up, as you know, to Auckland this afternoon to take Mrs. Mechanic to the airport. Team Marmite is being dropped off with Ben, my lad. He's going to look after Marmite up until Thursday night. So I've got like a 4-day window where I'm away from home. Monday I'm at head office. We've got some meetings then. Monday morning head office. Tuesday afternoon I'm going down south, driving down south for about half an hour, 45 minutes to go and see a motorcycle shop down there. Got a bit of an important meeting going on. I've just had it confirmed this morning. I saw the email come through, so that is now confirmed. And then Tuesday morning early we fly out to Gisborne, and then it's about an hour's drive into the middle of nowhere onto a station, one of the Landcorp stations. Landcorp's got 145 farms around New Zealand. They're all government-run farms. Landcorp is the body that looks after them all. I'm going to this particular station to talk to the farm manager and try and work out what's gone wrong, basically. There's been a bit of a problem there. Not going to elaborate. Need to investigate further, have a chat with the chap. And then drive back, get on a plane, fly down to Wellington. Staying in Wellington that night, the Tuesday night. And then first thing Wednesday morning, 9 a.m, I've got a meeting with the fleet manager of Landcorp to discuss this problem. And then Tuesday afternoon, jump back in the car, got to drive over the hill, heading north to Carterton. Got to go a motorcycle shop to call in there, have a chat with Nathan. And then back to Wellington and fly up to Napier. So almost back to Gisborne, flying into Napier, another dealer to go and see in Napier. And then staying in Napier, and then on the Wednesday morning, meeting with the dealer, and then Wednesday afternoon, fly back to Auckland, staying in Auckland is that right? No, Thursday morning. Thursday morning is the meeting. So Wednesday is Landcorp and Carterton. Thursday morning, dealer in Napier. Thursday afternoon, fly back to Auckland. Long day. Get in the car, drive north, pick up the mite of Marm, and then drive back to Taupo. That's the plan. Working from home Friday. That's what I'm hoping. If for some reason I have to stay over in Auckland Thursday night, and work Friday from head office. Could potentially be meetings. Then we have a problem. We have a problem with Team Marmite. Ben has only been able to take off a few days from work. Has to be back at work on the Friday. Can't take the Might of Marm to work. So don't know what's going to happen there. Bit of a problem. And then I've got the whole week, the weekend and the whole following week on my own at home with Team Marmite. Yes, that'll be fun. We'll have a few laughs. She'll no doubt get fed thousands of cookies now that Mrs. Mechanic's not around. But I've got a lot of admin work to do. I've got loads of reports to do from my visits in the South Island and a few from before that as well. So I need to get caught up in my reports. So having a nice solid week of admin will actually be quite beneficial. Might even get a video made at the weekend so I can edit that up on an evening. Just, because I can. I'm not going to be sat watching TV. I'll be busy doing something. Now then, where do we get to? For James, Andy, are you having a live stream next week? Yes, for certain. I will definitely have a live stream next Sunday morning because I'm all on my own. It'd be great to have a bit of company. Connor K, morning Andy and crew. Sorry I'm late. Shit happens. It does, Connor. Shit really does happen. And it all seems to happen at once, unfortunately. But welcome back to the workshop, Connor. Really appreciate it. In fact, Connor, I was reading one of your posts the other day. And it was on an old video. I think it might have been the CB750K2, where I was just feeling the header pipes, the exhaust header pipes, to see which one was cold, because we had a cylinder that wasn't working. And you mentioned to use the back of your hand, less nerves, rather than the front of your hand. So I remembered that, and I saw it, and I hadn't even given it a like from all those years ago, so I gave it a like for you. Daz323323, morning Andy and crew. Good morning, Daz. Welcome back to the workshop, matey. A bit of a spontaneous live stream. Wasn't really locked in this one, it just sort of happened. Okay, we need to go and get the pie. I've heard the ping. Let's go and get the pie, and then we can rate that pie. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom. Turn you round. Yes, it's a bit of a mess as the workshop at the moment, unfortunately. I do need to get those new casters, or some new casters for Sheldon as well, because they're pretty much knackered now. I had to pull Sheldon the mill out to do the bolts for the timber work. On the outside, you'll see there's a nice, there's a nice new bolt up there, look. And another one down there, and there's one down the bottom as well. So we managed to use the existing brackets, which was great. That really speeded the job up tremendously. Okay, we'll head over here. Bum, 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 bum. Pie time. I'm getting hungry. Okay, so first impressions. The cracks obviously have opened up due to thermal expansion. We've seen that many times on pies. Yes, a few more there, look, as well. This really does, it feels and looks just like a classic Wild Bean Cafe pie. I really wonder if it is. I wonder if they just bought them for the petrol station down the road. They may well have. Look at that. There's a few cracks on there, isn't there? Okay, we'll stick it on the bag. Turn you around, 3, 2, 1, boom. There we go. Okay. Oh, jeez. Yeah, massive back pain at the moment. Left-hand side lower back. Don't know what it is. It's been there for quite a few days, and it really, really hurts. And where do we get to? Simon, spray bottle on the header pipe saves your hands. See, I'm not that clever. I just put my hand on there, and oh, that's hot. That one must be working. I want to get a thermal camera. That's the plan. It's on my wish list. Sheldon, I wound Andy up about a pie on Friday, team. I think I had him yes, he did. Salivating. Yes. I was drooling. There's a good word. I was drooling from the side of my mouth. Mrs. Mechanic is actively cutting down on the number of pies that I'm allowed to eat. I do like pies, as you well know. And yeah, she wouldn't go and buy me one on Friday. So I was doing admin work on Friday. So there we go. Quick scan round. We've got, that could be a problem area. We may start there. Yes, it looks like the worst area, doesn't it? We've got another couple of cracks there. So this thing could fall apart during consumption, which is a major problem, to be perfectly honest. So for those that have just joined us, This pie is from Robert Harris Cafe in Tokoroa, and they sell it as a. In fact, I said it was a steak and cheese. I could be wrong. It's just got steak written on the bag, so maybe it's just a steak pie. We'll find out. Right, here we go. Very dry pastry. Very dry. For James, Andy, you need to take muscle relaxing tablets. I did take some Nurofen the other day, and it seemed to make absolutely no difference. Took them before, middle of the evening before I went to bed, and I was in agony that night, to be perfectly honest. And I don't know how I've done it. It's I know I had to move a crate in the South Island into a trailer, and that was pretty strenuous. So maybe I twisted my back doing that. I don't know. It could be just all the driving that I've been doing, but it just seems to have got worse the last few days and not better. I don't know why. I really don't. Hopefully it'll be fixed in a few days. Right, there you go. It's the first bite. It just, everything about this pie, it just seems to be a Wellbeing Cafe pie. But I could be wrong. There you go. I don't see any cheese. Not yet. Okay, so we need to do some scores, obviously, as we do this. Right, so taste, stroke, flavour, contents. Well, they are big chunks of steak in there. It's not that, in some pies we get like a mushy kind of mix of gravy and little strands of meat. That's definitely not the case with this pie, that's for sure. Still quite hot. Simon, do you get a pie and pea supper in New Zealand? It's a steak pie with mushy peas layered inside. Never come across that. There's not a lot of English influence on pies here in New Zealand. They really like their own pies. Although they are starting to broaden their horizons. There was BP, the petrol station, Wellbeing Cafe, ran a competition recently for a new flavour that they were going to produce and run for a set period of time as a pie that they would sell in their cafes. And it went out to lots of different people. Lots of people entered into the competition around New Zealand. And in the end, it ended up being like a spicy chicken, like an Indian sort of spicy chicken type pie, which I thought was quite brave of them, to be fair. They have made some pies which have been terrible, but obviously, they've got to try to explore different options. And they often do short runs, maybe a month or 2 months of a different style pie, just to sort of test the market and see how well it goes. Now, I think I can see a little bit of cheese in here, so maybe I was right at the start, and they just didn't bother to write the whole thing on the bag. Yeah, there you go. Cheese. It's a steak and cheese for sure. Okay, taste, stroke, flavour. The pastry, like I said earlier on, is pretty damn dry, but the contents do taste really good. I'm going to give it, overall, on taste, stroke, flavour, I'm going to give it a 6, I think. I think a 6 is fair. Structure Foley Partners. Bit early on at the moment, but we have got some pretty big cracks going on this pie. And you might notice I am sort of constantly going back with both hands to hold it. I don't feel confident in holding this pie just on one hand whilst eating it. I think bits are going to fall off because of all the cracks. So we'll hold that in abeyance for now, that one. Runnability, we can do that. So we've got a pretty good gap on the pie now. So 45 degrees, 30 seconds. Looks pretty solid. It's actually very hot as well. So if the cheese was, oh, I can see some movement there, look. Can you see that coming down? We don't want to lose that. Whoa! Whoa, get back in there. Right. Yes, behind there is a big pocket of cheese, so that was acting as a lubricant. Okay, so runnability test, it failed. It failed towards the end of the test. I'm going to give it... It would have been a big blob of meat lost on the floor, wouldn't it? Or in your lap if you're driving. I'm going to give it a 6. Again, for runnability. That's not really ideal, to be fair. Meat quality. That last piece of meat that I just bit out, the one that was about to fall out, it left a funny taste. It wasn't ideal, to be fair. We'll try one more. A little bit gristly. Yeah. Meat quality, we've had a lot better than this. Although it is big chunks of meat. So I'm going to give it... Geez, I'm going to give it another 6, actually. I think 7's too much. I might alter that later on. Now, pie, the pastry to the filling ratio. And as you can see on this pie, we have got very thick side walls, despite the fact... Whoa! Whoa, cheese, get in! We have got very big side walls, very thick side walls, and quite a thick crust. And there's a lot of pastry in these top corners where the top joins the sides. And it's quite dry as the pastry, so it takes a bit of eating, to be fair. So pie to crust ratio is the score's going to be down. It's not going to be maximum score at all. There is a lot of pastry on this pie, and that's not a good thing. So I'm going to give that... I'm going to give it another 6. Actually, it could be 6s all round. Now that was a burp, so we'll remember that we've already had 1. It is starting to repeat on me already. What's next? Availability logistics. Well, this came from a Robert Harris cafe in Tokoroa. I don't know how many Robert Harris cafes there are in New Zealand. Let's have a look. Robert Harris. Robert Harris Coffee, so they do cafes. Okay, I wonder if that's going to tell us how many there are. I know there's a few. There's one in Taupo. Is it going to put them all on the map? Sorry, Crana, you can't see this bit. It doesn't. Let's just go back. I'll put how many. Okay. Robert Harris Home. Most famous. I'm just scan reading here. Bear with me, people. Bear with me. Okay, it doesn't give me a number of how many Robert Harris cafes there are in New Zealand. I know there aren't that many, probably a dozen or so. I'm going to get, you can't buy them online. You've got to visit the cafe, so it's pretty limited. I'm going to give them, I'll give them a 4. I think 4 is fair enough for that because I said there's not many of them around. Pastry taste rating. Okay, we're going here. I'm going to just pull off a corner. Wow, if I can. Jeez. Ooh, okay. Like I say, very dry. There is a little bit of flavour there, to be fair. We've had a lot better. Wow. So, 5. Leave it at 5. Lost a lot of points for being so dry and so thick as well. You know, it's quite a mouthful of dry pastry. Now, still tastes when cold. Steak and cheese. I know that the classic Wild Bean Cafe pies, which are very, very similar to this, are still pretty tasty when they're cold. Not quite as tasty as the gourmet ones. I'm going to give it a 7. I think you should get a 7 for that. Yes, I will be quite happy pulling this pie out of the glove box. that's been sat in there for maybe 3 or 4 days and eating this pie, because there's enough preservatives and stuff in there for it to last a week probably. Okay. Pie has been stabilized. There is definitely a lot of cheese in there. You can see it all running around now. More cheese than most times, actually. Packaging design. Well, as you can see, just a paper bag. Very little going on. Just straight off the shelf. So they get a 1 for that. 1 for the paper bag. Now, recyclable score. Very simple. It is fully recyclable. But it doesn't tell us that it is, so it loses 1 point for that. So we're down to 9 for that one. I'm amazed this pen's still working. It's done like 3 years of pie tasting. Post heartburn factor, we've lost 1 point so far. We'll leave that till the end. Structure Foley partners. It's not great, to be honest. We've had a few bits where you bite into it and you end up with a much bigger mouthful than you planned because you're having to eat extra bits that are about to fall off, that have cracked off. I would give it it's not falling apart in my hands, but I'd give it, I'm going to give it a 5. It's pretty bad, actually. So that's that one up there. And it did definitely get worse as we got more into the pie as well. There you go. Oh, cheese. Nom, 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 nom. Nice. Okay. Oh, we can do this one. Pie server attractiveness. Now, I didn't go to the store. Jar went to the store, to the Robert Harris Cafe, to buy this pie for me. Very nice of her. Thank you very much, Jar. I do really appreciate it. And you picked a relatively good pie, to be fair. Not the best by any means, but not a bad pie. I'm not sure if Jar's a pie connoisseur or not. She maybe didn't appreciate, what she was buying, but it's actually not bad at all. It's certainly a welcome pie on a Sunday morning. And the cheese tastes great. It does. The cheese isn't bad at all. I'm going to give Jar, and it's all about, because Jar brought me the pie, I'm going to rate Jar. Now, hopefully she won't take any offense to this. And Craig, don't read anything into this. And Mrs. Mechanic, don't read anything into this. There's the covenants. I'm going to give Jar a 9. Very nice. And very talkative, very happy. And she was very proud of the fact she brought me a pie. And so was I. Did a good job. So thank you again, Jar. Okay. We're nearly there. I'm going to finish the pie off and then we'll do the last 2 scores. So there's your pretty much last viewing of the contents. Lots and lots of cheese, which sort of makes up for the fact it's falling apart, really. There we go. As you can see, there is a lot of pastry going on. And we've got all these huge cracks and things, so definitely a 2-handed pie, without any doubt. Oh, hang on. We've got a few comments. Banana Brooks, have you got a go at those oil pipes? Or have you had a go at those oil pipes on your GSX 1100F? Vijayant, in South Africa, we used to get a spicy chicken pie. Very delicious. I don't know why they stopped making it. Well, that's a shame. If it was popular, they should keep selling it. Maybe they ran out of chickens. I goes the Broskis. Banana Brooks. No, I haven't got a cold. Sorry, no, I haven't got a cold for a week, and then pulled my back. Jeez. Join the club. Still can't do any hard work for at least 2 weeks. We'll start as soon as my back pain stops. Yeah, there's no fun in having to work when you've got back pain. That's for sure. Spencer M, new name. Morning, Spencer. Don's Back Relief, so that's the name of a brand. Don's Back Relief is magnesium. Now I just take magnesium. Good tip. Banana Brooks, I emailed Andy some engine diagrams struck illustrations, as I couldn't quite see from your photo where the pipes connected to. You did. The Giant. Who is Jar? Jar is Craig Stevens' wife. Very nice young lady. From Thailand, I believe. Igor Dabrowskis. Banana Brooks. They are G-King from the head down. Oh, going. They are going from the head down to the engine case. The main thing is, if I can pull the head without pulling the engine from the frame. Looks very much that the engine must be dropped, which is the case on quite a few motorbikes, to be honest. Right, another burp. Another burp. Last piece. Are you ready? Oh, another burp. That's 4. Jeez. Another burp. 5. Okay. Pie has gone. So, last 2 scores. Post-pie heartburn is down to 5. Hopefully it'll clear before I start driving back to Auckland. Stuff ability score. How stuffed do I feel? Well, I'm not hungry anymore. It's done its job. Do I feel overfull? No, I do feel like I need some liquid though, so that pastry was ridiculously dry. Even cold coffee helps. Yeah. If you were going to eat that pie, you would definitely want to eat it with a drink, for sure. Otherwise, you're just going to run out of saliva. I'm going to knock it a couple of points off because you have to have a drink with it, for sure, because of the dryness. I'm going to give it 8. 8. If the pastry had been good, I think it would have got a full 10. It would have done the job. Right, we need to add up the scores. Turn you around, 3, 2, 1, boom! There we go. Bum, 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 bum. With the stool. There we go, drop you down a bit, don't upset YouTube. There we are. Right. Okay, arithmetic time. We have got 11. Oh, God. 16. 16, 17. Yes, 17. 23. 29. 33. 38. 43. 44. 53. 58. 66. 75. That's a pretty poor score, isn't it? 75. Yeah, this pen is just starting to dry out, I think. Okay, so we have, where's my piece of paper? A Robert Harris. Oh, hang on. Yes, we'll do that first, don't we? Robert Harris. Steak and cheese. And it got a miserable 75. Not ideal. I'm going to put on here looks and tastes. Like Wild Bean Cafe. Steak and cheese. Classic. Steak and cheese. Okay, right. Lots of words going on there. 75. Let's see also, just out of interest, what the Wild Bean Cafe Classic Steak and Cheese got. Be interested to find out if it's got a similar score, although I can't imagine from memory that it was as dry as that one was. Okay, so first of all, where is... Oh, there it is, look. Wild Bean Cafe Classic Steak and Cheese, 97. And this time it got 75. Huge difference. But don't forget, some of the score will be dropped because it was now being sold by Robert Harris cafes, which is have a much smaller number of outlets around the country, so it would have drastically lost points from that alone. And this one, I obviously had the dry pastry as well, which wasn't ideal. 75. Oh my word, that's right down here. Look. Right, so we're gonna need to make some space. That one is gonna have to go right down there. This could take a while, people. Oh no, it's got some workshop gubbins on it now. There we go, and we'll just shovel all those down. Bear with me. This is the door of shame, really, isn't it? There we are, that'll work. We've made a few more spaces. Stick him in there. A sad day when you're so low down. 75. Not impressed. It is actually, though, a lot of pies that we've eaten now. Very proud of that. That's consumer service right there for the population of the world. I do this for you, people. Right, turning around. 3, 2, 1, boom. There we go. Okay, so pie is done. A miserable 75. Not good at all. In the bin. Missed the bin. God damn it. Right, get rid of that. Okay, what time are we on? We are 1 hour and 5, so time for a cigarette and a quick catch up on the comments. And then I've got to go to the tip. Got a big trail load of crap from the garden. We've had a bit of a tidy up. We found some more motorbikes in the brash. And yes, they've all been pulled out. And we used around the back of the workshop and down the side, down what we call Diagon Alley from the Harry Potter movies, because kids are a great fan of Harry Potter. Around here, a lot of thorny bush stuff sort of grows. It's really dense. It was really overgrown, and it's an absolute shit to cut back if you leave it too long. And the thorns are ridiculously evil. A while ago, I bought Mrs. Mechanic like a hedge trimmer for doing the front hedge, and it has those sort of fingers that do that, you know. So I thought, oh, we'll try that. After about an hour of struggling with the little loppers, I thought, go and get me a hedge trimmer. Let's see if it'll do this. Brilliant, absolutely. It was like a lightsaber. Absolutely phenomenal. So we managed to clear the whole back of the workshop in probably about an hour. And chop it all up into little pieces. So with the hedge trimmer, you can just chop, you know, maybe 6-inch lengths as you're working your way through, and that makes it so much easier to get in the trailer and to handle, you know, and to rake up, much easier. So we've still got another burp. We've still got the back of the workshop to do down diagonally, and then we're going to tackle behind Ben's shed and the silver shed. All of that is also overgrown with like bramble bushy stuff. Very nasty. Hate doing it. Needs to be done. We'll get it all cleared out for the summer because it's a bit of a fire risk as well. And we can find all the motorbikes, the old farm bikes that are buried down there when it was clear last time round. Hang on a minute. Where do we get to? Simon, UK, the festive break will be out. Hang on. Oh, the festive bake will be out soon. Pastry filled with pieces of cooked chicken, sage, onion. Oh, I'm salivating again. Onion, stuffing, and cooked sweet cured bacon, covered in a creamy sage and cranberry sauce. That sounds awesome. Absolutely phenomenal. Count me in, Simon. I would like to have one of those. Not that you can send one across because it'll be all moldy by the time it gets here, but you lucky chap. Wow. That is, honestly, compared to the pie I've just eaten, that will be fantastic. Hey, Steve Robb. Hi, Andy. Listening out in the shop. Good morning, Steve. Welcome back to my workshop. Steve Robb is a top bloke. If you do get a chance, do go onto his YouTube channel. He's got so many videos on there. He does all sorts of repair jobs in his workshop. And he also has like a cabin out in the bush in the middle of nowhere that he does a lot of work on as well, and tries to defend himself from bears and other stuff that lives around his cabin. It's pretty interesting, all the problems that he has and the ways that he comes around, you know, workarounds and stuff. Pretty good. Very good job, Steve. And a long-standing YouTube creator as well. He's definitely, you know, stuck to the course, done a great job. and was instrumental in helping me set up my YouTube channel and getting it to work, you know, because a lot of people do YouTube channels and they just don't work. You put a lot of effort in and you just don't get anywhere. And with Steve's help and a few others, Erica helped me and Ivan as well, they're all there to give me support, and Keith as well from One Level Auto. Great to have that kind of support, really, really was. And you know, maybe the channel hasn't quite turned out to be exactly what I planned it to be at the start, you know. I mean, oh, there's a spider. Hang on, we'll get rid of the spider. Where's my lighter? Right, one less spider in the world. Don't like spiders. You know, we do all sorts of stuff, and I enjoy making the videos. And that's something you've got to remember is I often fell into the trap of feeling compelled to do videos for the viewers, and even YouTube, you know, on the subject matter, you know, and to do it in the style that maybe I felt would get maximum views and that kind of thing. And YouTube do the same thing. As a creator, I regularly get emails from YouTube saying, oh, if you do this, you'll get more views, and you should change your channel a bit and do this and get more views. To me, it's not all about the views, you know. It's about the content. It's about just, in the main, capturing the jobs that come through, making videos on them. Not on all of them, I couldn't do that, but on the interesting ones. But also, it's a little bit of a documentation of my life over a period of time. And at the moment, it's been 8 years. I don't know how long it'll carry on for, and I'm sure at some point in time I'll go, you know what? I don't want to make videos anymore. I've done that for long enough now. I need to focus more on my own time and do my own thing. I can't imagine when that time would be, to be perfectly honest, and it's certainly not something I'm thinking of at the moment. I really enjoy making the videos, and I enjoy the engagement with the viewers that enjoy the videos, the ones that watch them and comment. And I also enjoy the live streams as well. It's great company, especially when I'm out on the road. It's great company. It gives me that little bit of time, an hour and a half, whatever it is, where I can talk freely. We can chat and come up with different ideas and just discuss things that are going on and be part of each other's lives, I suppose. For James, you say a very dry pie. The contents were fine. It was just the pastry was ridiculously dry. Almost like maybe it had been in the cabinets for the day before or a couple of days before. It really did seem to me, now that I've eaten the pie, it seemed identical to a Wild Bean Cafe classic steak and cheese. And when I'm back in Tokoroa next, and I've got a little bit of time, I'll call into Robert Harris and I'll speak to the manager and I'll say, look, is there any possible chance that you may have got that from the same supplier that supplies Wild Bean Cafe? Be interesting to find out, and I'll report back. Simon, need a Top Gear twist to the doors, like the car wall, or uncool to Sub-Zero. Ah, yes. That's a good idea, actually. I like that. It would just break them into groups, wouldn't it? And I think we're putting those notes on the little tabs as well. That would maybe help that. I'll have a think. Work in progress. I don't want to stop doing the pie reviews. I mean, Mr. Mechanic tells me you've done enough. Only this morning, said, you've done it for 3 years. Why are you still doing pie reviews? And my answer to that was, well, there's still more pies out there. We keep coming across different brands of pies, different flavors of pies. It almost seems never ending. And there also seems to be more pie companies setting up in New Zealand now, which is great. You know, builds the competition, right? And available and the range of pies that are out there. So we'll keep going. It's a nice Sunday morning breakfast. I'm just going to cut down on the pies during the week. That's the bottom line. And I do find, when I was in the South Island, I found that on a regular basis, not more than once a day, but on a regular basis, every day I would end up eating a pie somewhere as just the food. I was hungry, I needed something, and it was an easy way to do it. So, yeah, it's difficult to get away from. Probably addicted to pies, to be fair. A frame of mind I need to change a little bit. The Giant. I meant to say you should write on your rating card very dry pie. Oh, okay. I should do that. I'll do that after the live stream. I don't want to keep wandering around the workshop with you. Simon, the smaller channels like this are better as you get good exchange of ideas. That is something that I was a bit concerned about if the channel grew, and it did go through quite a growth period, about year 3, year 4. And I was getting a little bit concerned that it was getting a bit too commercialized, and a little bit too, I don't know, mainstream. I've always tried to steer away from like your Motor Trend style videos where they're fixing an old muscle car and you hardly see any kind of technical content at all, and it's all just throw on new parts and oh, isn't this great, and then we'll go off and destroy it. That's not really what this channel is all about. There's already plenty of channels that do that kind of stuff. Even the TV stuff, that where they restore old cars and things, again, when you drill down to it, there's very little content about how to do the repairs. It's more of just an insight of what parts they're fitting and what they've created at the end, and how it looks as well. This channel is more about how to do things and how to diagnose stuff and how to fix things, useful stuff. I mean, I had a guy yesterday afternoon, I think it was, maybe even this morning, I can't really remember, posted a comment. He has a snowplow on the front of his ATV, and they used the winch on the ATV to raise and lower the snowplow, and the winch had stopped working. It wouldn't work, so he couldn't lower his snowplow. And he sent me a message. He said, "Hey Andy, great video. In fact, I can even read it out to you. This is what he said. I'll read it out because it's on here. Bear with me, because I thought it was really cool." Boom, boom, boom. He says, so this is the winch not working. Here's how to test the solenoid, number 1471. Matthew Carpenter. This freaking video, clap, 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 just learnt me everything there is to know about solenoids, and I finally got the plow down on my ATV. 3 smiley faces. And learned that the relay is fine. Thank you so much for this. Well, Matthew, no problem at all. That's exactly why I make these videos. So there you go. Thank you very much, Matthew. I really appreciate the feedback. And it's those comments which give me the motivation to keep doing what I do. You know, that and the interaction with the viewers. To me, it's part of having a YouTube channel. I know I don't comment to every comment that comes through. I don't reply to every email that comes through. And my apologies for that. I just run out of time. Sometimes when they plink through, I'll read them and I'm busy doing something else and I forget to go back and answer them. And I'm only human. I just, you know, I just lose focus sometimes and forget. John Nuttall, hit the like button. Thank you, John, and good morning, sir. Welcome to my little workshop. Daz 323323, 100,000 is not far off for you. Good point. I was talking to Mrs. Mechanic yesterday about this. Obviously, I've seen a drop in subs in the last sort of 12 months. We used to get about 1,000 subs a month when we had videos, current videos with Tool Girls, when Holly was around. Now it's dropped to about 500, maybe 600 a month, somewhere around that mark, which is fine. I don't mind at all. You know, it is what it is. At least it's still going up, right? I think by the end of the year, we should hit 90,000 subs, which is a huge milestone for the channel. And it'll probably take another 18 months, I reckon, to get to the 100,000. The 100,000 subs mark will be a major celebration for me. I'm working so hard to get to that. I find it very, very limited. I'm very limited in time in producing the videos, editing them, getting them on the channel, that kind of thing. And they tend to go in spurts. I tend to sort of really have a chunk of time where I can do videos and then edit them all up like I was in the South Island, and then they hit the channel on a regular basis. And then there's usually a bit of a gap and just a few live streams, and then I have time to do it again. It's very difficult at the moment. Work is more busy than it's ever been. I seem to be doing more travel than I've ever done before. And I've been supporting events as well recently, which again eats into more time. And I just get home and sometimes I'm not in the right mindset to make a video. And I've learned that you don't make videos if you're not in the right mindset. It's as simple as that. Don't do it because it just becomes a chore. You don't enjoy it. And it's quite clear on the videos that I'm not the Andy Mechanic that you know. I'm a bit more reserved, and not quite engaged in the video. So I don't do them for that reason. There is about 105, maybe 110 videos on the channel that are not released to public at the moment, which are all repairs and diagnostics and bits and pieces on, mainly on, well, they're all on Yamaha bikes. As part of my work contract, they can't go really be released to the public until I stop doing the job that I'm doing, basically, which is, I see the current role that I have as my last job before retirement. So I intend to be working in my current role for at least another 8 years, 9 years. Maybe, I think Mrs. Mechanic said I can retire at 60, which would be nice. And then I can then go full time with the channel. I can really focus on that and develop it more and plan ahead, which is something that I do struggle to do sometimes. So those videos will get released at that point. Not all at once, obviously. I'll filter them through probably over a year, maybe even 18 months. But then I'll be making videos at the same time as well. So there'll be a lot of videos hitting the channel. It'll be quite weird because you'll see a much younger version of Andy and then an older version of Andy and then a younger version. It'll be very weird, but hey, that's just the way it is. Vijayant, please don't stop your YouTube channel, please. Don't worry, Vijayant. I don't have any plans at all to stop this channel for the foreseeable future. And I'm talking years, not months or weeks, all right? I'm going to be around for a lot longer yet. Like I say, I enjoy doing this. And I'm pretty well set up for doing it, to be honest. I've got a lovely workshop, spent a long time building it and getting it all sort of so that it works for me. We've got some really cool lighting to go in that I picked up from Holly's workshop, which will stop all the flickering and stuff. Again, it's a lot of work and I've got lots of projects on the way, but that's something which will eventually happen, and it'll improve the quality of the videos when we're looking at manuals and that kind of thing. Connor K, yes, the useful stroke tech description channels are far fewer than the others, which more resemble entertainment-focused TV shows. One reason why I watch you, South Main Auto, and Rainman Ray's Repairs. Oh, I've got to check that one out. Rainman Ray. That sounds pretty cool. And it's actually really good as well to see the other channels like South Main Auto, Eric O, and Ivan as well, doing so well, and for their channels to build. You know, I enjoy watching their videos, and it's great to see them actually, you know, benefiting from all the time and the effort that they put in as well. And it does take it. I mean, Simon, you make a few little videos yourself. It takes, and Steve as well, it takes an immeasurable amount of time, not just to film, but you've got all the prep work at the start. You've got to do the filming. Sometimes you've got to refilm the odd piece to camera because, you know, it's not worked correctly. And then you've got all the editing to do. And then, of course, you've got to upload the video and do all the text around that and stuff. And then if, you know, like Eric O and Ivan, you've got the online shops and stuff that go with that. There's a lot of work. There really is. I haven't really got into the online shop stuff. Again, it's, to me, that's more of a commercialization of the channel. Yes, it'd be lovely to do merch, Andy Mechanic merch, and I'm sure we'd sell stuff. And we've dabbled with it over the years, but I don't have the time. And one of the biggest problems is the shipping side of it. To ship anything out of New Zealand around the world, we did it with the calendars, ridiculously expensive. And it makes it not really viable. And that's my fault for being in New Zealand. It's the way it is. Simon, lol, you said that the tank brace on the Triumph was a British thing. I found one on a blue brand last... Really? You're kidding me? What a stupid idea. Honestly, that to me was just dumb. But anyway, it is what it is. Simon, post-apocalyptic inventor is a good one for electronics. Ooh, we'll have a picture of that one as well. I do like to check these things out when I'm down at the pub and I want to watch a video. I like to check out new channels. I watch Big Clive as well. He's ridiculously good at electronics. He really is. Do I learn? Yes, I learn from Big Clive, and they're entertaining sometimes as well. Well, most of the time they're entertaining. A great character. Okay, crew, we've finished the pie. We've had a really good chat. We've talked about all sorts of stuff again today. Thank you very much for joining me today. I now have to pack up, get all the bikes into the workshop, jump in the ute, head off down to the tip, and empty a trailer full of all sorts of crap. There's scrap steel in there, there's gardening stuff. It's going to be a real pain in the ass to clear that trailer out. It really is. Connor K. Rayman Ray's Repairs is a good guy who owns a garage in Florida, USA. Good filming and interesting car diagnostics. Cool. And that's one of the main benefits that people like Erico have, is they've got their own shop and it's a viable business, and they've got constant supply of vehicles coming in that need to be diagnosed. Obviously, Eric's a very, very, very good technician, very knowledgeable, very experienced, and the content of his videos is invaluable. For me, I don't have that. I don't do retail work. It's whatever bikes I buy or want to work on, or any projects that I've been given, like the go-kart project. It's a very different kind of focus. It's more about what I do for myself and for close friends, acquaintances, that kind of thing. Sometimes for work, or work related in some way. It's not your retail work. I just don't do that anymore. The only retail work I do, I suppose, would be the ROV servicing, but again, I can't film that because it's the wrong brand, right? But hey, it is what it is. Daz, how much do you think you spent on all the pies? Well, the good news is the vast majority of pies have been purchased while I've been on work trips, driving around New Zealand, doing my job basically. And I am very fortunate that work pay for all my sustenance, as you would call it, breakfast, lunch, dinner, evening meal, whatever it is. It's all paid for as part of my expenses. So how much have I spent on pies is a fraction to what work has spent on pies for me. Yes, that's probably a fair way of putting it, but it will be thousands of dollars. It really, really, really would be thousands. Over the years, thousands of dollars. And coffee. Don't forget the coffees as well. Vijayant, Andy and crew, have a wonderful week ahead. Thank you, Vijayant. And that's it. We're done. Really appreciate all your support. Thanks for spending some time with me again this morning. And I will see you next Sunday. Yes, there's another one next Sunday. Live stream, 8:30 a.m. in the workshop. Cheers, crew. Over and out.